Hello, my beautiful buds. Welcome back to my channel, Stress with Joy. My name is Joy, and if you like to talk about plants, you're in the right place. All right, I am freezing my little tush off right now. It's so cold. I don't even know how cold it is. I just know it feels cold. I'm currently waiting for the ice to defrost on my car. I had the opportunity to get out of the house, so I am taking it. But I just want to check out a few big box stores and just see what's happening, because I have not entered one in months upon months, because I have a newborn at home and a toddler, and I really just haven't been leaving the house a whole lot. So yeah, but I got in the car and I was like, dang it, there's freaking ice on the windshield. I grew up in South Florida, so like I'm still not used to having to wait for ice to thaw, or like, yeah, I mean, I guess I could get out and scrape the ice off, but like, do I really want to do that, or would I rather just let it defrost on its own for a couple minutes, you know? Probably just gonna do that. But yeah, come along with me if you'd like. Alright, it's voiceover Joy here, because it's more in my comfort zone to do a voiceover rather than talking in public. So yeah, right off the bat, there is Calathea ornata, which I already have, but it didn't look too terrible, along with all of like your typical big box store plants, like lots of peperomias. There's this random fern. There's some ficus audrey, which actually I liked. I feel like that may have been the first time I've seen that at a big box store, but I know that they're definitely out there. And lots of peperomias, lots of dracaena, lots of money trees, all those cute little things. And what are those, bird's nest ferns or something, I think. And of course, ficus lyrata or fiddle leaf figs. Classic. I actually really liked their pot selection this time around. And this like white striped dracaena really stood out to me. I've seen it a couple of times, but this was definitely the best looking one that I've seen at Lowe's before. It was super tempting because, you know, that's not a terrible price, but I still just didn't really have like an exact place where I think I would put it. So I don't know. I was unsure, but definitely that was one that stood out to me so far, as well as these little ficus audreys, because I don't have one. And they had all their like big plants over here. Of course, pothos as expected, and ZZ plants, and these Maranta looked a bit rough for sure. I felt kind of bad for them, but you know, that's big box store living for you. These are big dracaena, goodness. And these fiddle leaf figs were also pretty large. And I love this Calathea. It's like the peacock Calathea or Calathea macchiana, whatever. I have this one in my collection already, but I always love looking at them and seeing what the pest situation is like. Oh my gosh, it's so blown out, like the white. Goodness. And this snake plant, okay, this pot was actually really cute. Like, I was kind of tempted to buy it just for the pot, to be honest. And yeah, another rough looking Maranta. I guess it wasn't that bad, but it was not super happy. Okay, this was like a jungle cactus. Oh, I tried to like pull it down, but the water, all these plants had just been watered. So I was like, okay, I give up. No, thank you. But it looked pretty cool. I couldn't reach the tag to see exactly what kind it was, but it kind of looked like the orchid cactus or something like that. And those pots were a little bit weird. Not really my taste, personally. They had one little lonely staghorn fern, but it looked pretty big. And again, I think I tried to pull it down and it did not work well for me. Yep, here we go. I was like, I don't want to try to do this with a camera in one hand. Okay, these button ferns were so freaking cute, but I feel like I would maybe kill them. So I don't know, but very, very tempting, to be honest. They're honestly, they're precious, aren't they? Do any of you guys have a button fern? And if so, let me know if they've been successful for you. A little Fittonia looked very festive with the red, but they're not really my personal taste, so Their pots were okay. Like, they had a few cute ones, Like, these ones were on clearance, and I actually thought they were really, unironically, fairly cute. There are the rest of those. And I was totally blocked. I was not able to, I had to go around the other way eventually. So I was just like, okay, I guess you can look from over here, right? And I really liked these little like macrame hangers that they had. And honestly, okay, this pothos, like this variegation on it was actually really good. Quite impressive. And of course, philodendron Brazil and your typical like heartleaf philodendron, they actually looked really lush and pretty. And these were some Monstera Peru that were Costa Farm, so of course it was called, I think it was like Green Galaxy or something, whatever they call them. But yeah, they looked okay. They were a little bit yellowy for my taste, but I do like this plant. But I already have one, so I was in the market for it. And then I think this, what is this, Xanthosoma or something like that, which I don't think I've actually seen in person, but I know that Costa Farms has been selling them in their trending tropicals collection, which I think are all like 1998 or something, if I am correct on that. Oh, and these were, I think they call them lucky bamboo or like variegated lucky bamboo, but I'm pretty sure they're just a kind of Dracaena. And it was actually really adorable. And of course it said low light, which is so annoying. I don't typically consider myself a Dracaena gal, but the two plants that have really stood out to me so far were Dracaena. More of these pots that I like with the Syngonium neon robusta, which they look so much better than my plant currently does. And micans, I always love micans. Beautiful. Okay, and then down here, they had some Aglaonema Silver Bay, which is an Aglaonema I've thought about getting as well. And it was only for like $15, which is really not bad at all for a great plant. And lots of ZZs, of course. Okay, Watermelon Peperomia. They actually look really sad and all curled up. And Global Green Pothos, which didn't look too bad, but I'm not really in the market for one of those. And they had Baltic Blue, which I've thought about getting. The fenestrations are honestly super cool, but I don't know. I've been sort of undecided, and this one looked a little bit floppy. And Calathea mosaica, I think is interesting, but I feel like it was really hyped for a while, and then people were like, eh. And this ZZ plant looked so bad. Like, I was like, is that the chameleon kind? But I think it was just bad. Crotons, the bromeliads. My mom loves bromeliads, but they are really not my taste at all. And, Rhaphidophora Hagei, I think. I've always seen these Dieffenbachia at big box stores, like, all the time. And I do think that they are pretty cool, but they're so big. I never know where the heck I would put them. And I feel like their price wasn't bad either. What was it, like maybe $20 or $15? No, it was $20. Okay, Norfolk Pine, guys. I actually really love this plant. They're so pretty. But again, they're just so big and I don't have a great place for them. For like $25 at Lowe's. It was a big plant. Okay, these pots I actually really liked. And they reminded me of my mother-in-law because she has like blue accents in her kitchen. So I was actually pleasantly surprised by some of the pot selection that they had, but also I actually have this one already. I got it like maybe a year ago. I potted up my Branty in a minute. Yeah. More pots. Those are so yellow. I feel like my mom would like them. Okay, these are trellises, and I definitely need a trellis, but I was not ready to commit to these guys. I have one that looks like this already. I need it for my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, but I just don't know for sure if I want to go with a trellis that's that large or commit to that yet. So, but I do know I do need a bigger one, but I don't know. I have no idea if I want to do that or not. So maybe another day. And then I always like to just go check out their terracotta pots just to see like what they have, because that tends to be my go-to for pots. So looks like they had quite a few big ones. And then small ones, not so much. They just had those, which I already have plenty of those right now, at least. Here's me trying to get a good thumbnail, but it was so freezing cold. I could not hold still. So I'm being awkward. Also fit check though. Jeez. And then I always like to check out their planks of wood as well. I wish I had done a more thorough inventory of what I already had before coming here, but I do think that I need some. But yeah, they just have like this little lumber section with pre-cut wood that if you can't find scrap wood, which would be my first go-to, if you just need a quick plank or something to put your plants on, it's definitely more convenient to have them pre-cut if you don't have like the power tools or anything to cut things. These little packs are actually not bad. I've gotten these a few times. That was fun. Well, there were a few cool things there. I didn't end up getting a plant, although I was very tempted by that white Dracaena. I feel like I always am, and that one in particular seemed like a pretty nice specimen. I don't know, but there were some nice looking pots and stuff that came with the plants. And then I did end up getting just this pack of wood. You know, they're like a little wood square thing. Proper words are escaping me, but you know what I mean. They're good for securing plants if you want to get them climbing. And I just found myself in need of a few more because I'd like to repot some plants soon with them. And it's just a pack that comes in like 4 for like $5, which I don't think is too bad. And then I picked up a couple of pots because I'm going to be giving away some propagations as Christmas gifts, and I didn't want to just give them to each person in like their nursery pots. So I went ahead and got, you know, they're relatively cheap pots, but I just wanted to get them things to go with their plants. So this will go, oh gosh, it was really hard to see it. It has like a geometric texture to it. Okay, there we go. It has a geometric texture to it. It's just kind of like a creamy white colored pot that I thought was pretty nice. And then there's this, which I actually thought was super cute. I was tempted to get one for myself to bring it down here. And it was actually on sale. There was like $2 off or something like that. It's just like a little 4-inch pot or 3.5-inch pot or something like that. This was more like $10, I think. But it was cute. I think that I do have time to go to Home Depot. I might also just pick up dinner while I'm out too, because I'm not home to make dinner. Which, I mean, obviously my husband is capable of making dinner, but like I didn't communicate that with him today, but now I'm just kind of talking. So let's get to Home Depot while I have the time. So of course they had lots of Norfolk pines actually on sale for the holidays. Some of them looked pretty surprisingly good, but a lot of them also looked expectedly poor and unwell. So, you know, some of them had some ornaments too, which is kind of fun. And then over here, the first thing that catch my eye was just this Calathea lancifolia. It actually did not look half bad. It's a very striking plant. And then they also had these philodendron red Congos, like quite a lot of them. And if they're anything like my philodendron green Congo, they will mature into a really good looking plant. So yeah, they had tons and tons of those for, I guess, $13, I think. And then, of course, fiddle leaf figs, to be expected. They are rampant. The majority of the plants really just did not look good. There's a sort of foliage, lots of peperomias. Like this one, actually it didn't look too bad, but another one of these lancifolias, and this was a green Congo actually, but it's a more juvenile form of it compared to what mine is at currently. Really underrated plant in my opinion. More bromeliads. What is it with bromeliads? Like, why are they so popular to grow? These money trees were not too bad. I used to have one, but I neglected it. And I love rickrack cactus, so I'm always happy to see it around. But it was labeled as just like a succulent, which that's okay. That's fine. And then that burro's tail succulent over there looked just like on the verge of death. It was kind of depressing. But yeah, lots more rickrack cacti. Like, oh, beautiful. Love jungle cactus. This is actually an exotica, which I would have been so excited to see this like last year in a big box store. Syndapsis pictus exotica. They didn't look amazing, and they were also labeled as a succulent, which I thought was kind of hilarious. But, you know, whatever, I guess. Whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I do love that plant a lot. I have a nice big basket at home though, so I don't necessarily need one. More cacti, which their cactus selection was kind of fun. I don't know a ton about cactus, so I can like name them all for you. This one in particular stood out to me. It was kind of fun. But yeah, they didn't have like any specific species name. It was all just generic cacti, succulent, blah, which is not helpful, you know? They had big old Dracaena, corn plants, whatever you want to call them, and giant alocasia that looked kind of decidedly sad, but the leaves were huge, which, I mean, that's pretty cool. And they had these little rubber trees, the Ficus elastica burgundies, I think. More Dracaena. So much Dracaena, and these really big baskets of Syngonium. Oh my lord, that poor prayer plant. It looks murdered. Not good. Oh, I haven't seen an ogre's ear succulent in a long time. I used to have a lot of these, but I just I neglected them a little bit too much. And aloe, of course. I love aloe, but I don't have one anymore. Oh, and these Dieffenbachia Camille's, I think, are kind of fun. More rubber trees, which I've always kind of considered, but I already have the Taniki, which I really like. So I don't know that I necessarily want to add one of these guys to my collection, but they were only, maybe $12 or something, which was a really good price, I think, for having multiple trees in one pot. And yeah, Birkins as well. Classic. I considered grabbing some of these, like plastic, I don't know, for some of my bigger plants. What are they called? Draining dishes, or I don't know, something. I'm blanking on the name. Or Dracaena marginata, which I think these are sort of rising in popularity right now, but I'm not really into them that much. Like, I guess I could kind of see it, but it's just not my personal taste. Okay, and their terracotta selection. Holy moly, again, I really wish that I made a list before I got here, because I definitely could have stocked up on some pots. I don't always see them this nicely stocked, but I didn't want to get something that I didn't need. Okay, and guys, I was just about to leave when these plants caught my eye. I realized I hadn't checked out the section yet, and they had euphorbia, and they had prickly pear cactus or opuntia, and I was so thrilled. Look at how beautiful that is. And they also had some string of pearls too, which was kind of fun, and just various euphorbia. And these burro's tail looked a little bit happier than the one from before. And then these little like cactus variety pots were also pretty cool. I've been trying to get more into cactus lately, but I just kept coming back to these guys. Wow. So I walked into Home Depot like fully prepared to be like, I wasn't interested in any of these plants, and they all sucked, and they were sad and stuff like that. But honestly, there were a couple of plants that were pretty cool, and I almost missed it. Like, I was literally just walking out the door because I just forgot to like kind of check the cactus and succulent section, and then this guy caught my eye. Holy moly. It's an opuntia. It's a prickly pear cactus. And I know that there are different varieties of opuntia, and there are like several different kinds, and I'm still open to getting like different kinds too, but like this was a wish list plant for me. And actually I have a wish list video coming out that hasn't actually come out yet, and I already filmed it, and the prickly pear cactus was on my wish list in that video, so I'm gonna have to like edit that part out, I guess. But look at it. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. And this was the only one in the bunch that had 2 petals, and it was only $7. I'm actually genuinely really excited about this, guys. Look at how adorable it is. Okay, I was not expecting to find anything. I had super low expectations, but here we are. I found a plant that I wanted for a really good deal, actually. So obviously the mix that he's in is absolute trash, so I'll have to repot him pretty promptly. And I really wish that I had cactus mix, like a dedicated cactus mix, but I just don't, because I don't have a whole lot of cactus. So I might just use De La Tank soil and call it a day. It's probably better than what it's currently in, so you know, whatever. I'm actually gonna pick up pizza, so I'm looking forward to that because I'm actually quite hungry. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you guys have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye-bye.